Hillary Clinton is having a new fundraiser with her celebrity friends. We hear from Gawker here. They say, on April 15th, Politico reports George and Amal Clooney will host a fundraiser for the Hillary Victory Fund at the Bay Area home of a venture capitalist. To sit at the head table, a couple must contribute or raise $353,400. God damn! $353,400 to sit at the head table and be in the presence of Hillary Clinton. But wait, Bill's going to be there too, so maybe the money's worth it. They continue, if a couple only hits $100,000, they get into the host reception featuring the Clintons and the Clooneys. Individual tickets cost $33,400 and get you a photo with the Democratic frontrunner. All right, so understand that. The cheap tickets, the nosebleeds, are $33,400, and you just get to see her real quick and take a picture, and then you got to move along. To get into the event, $100,000, but again, don't be a cheap little bitch here. You got to step it up. $353,400 to get at a front seat there. So right next to her, right next to Bill, they're in front of you. And I believe the idea is you get close enough where if she passes gas, you can waft it in. Oh yes, Hillary, your queen gas is so fantastic. That smells like roses or freshly baked muffins. You're so great. You're so great. What a joke this is, man. Now, I was doing this last night on Twitter. Compare this with Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders' idea of a fundraiser is raising $13 from the local mailman, and getting a note from the mailman that says, my kid is sick, I have to pay too much in medical bills here. I'm scared that we're going to go into bankruptcy. This is why I want you to be president, and this is why I'm donating. You're our last hope. You're pushing for all the things that we need as Americans. A Bernie fundraiser is some college student who's up to their eyeballs in debt. And they're like, I don't know what to do. I graduated X amount of years ago, and I'm just so behind the eight ball here. I can't even think of ever partaking in the American dream and trying to get a house. My life seems like I'm just going to perpetually be in debt because of the system that made it so that I have to pay an arm and a leg just to get an education, just to then maybe have a shot at making some money. So compare, man. And remember, he says it in every speech, and I think it's good that he says it because then people really get the idea of what he's about. But the average contribution to his campaign is $27. Now, Hillary likes to say in her speeches, most of my contributors are small donors. Notice how she phrased that. Most of my contributors. Okay, so what does that mean? That means some of them are not, and of the ones that are not, they're giving you money like this. You're going around to Wall Street cocktail events and Washington bubble media events, and they're giving you a tremendous amount of money. And the most important thing, guys, is you think there's no strings attached with this? Come on, don't be naive. Don't be naive. Nobody could be that stupid. Where, I'm going to give you $353,000. Don't worry about it. When I call you when you're president, I'm not expecting any favors. I'm not expecting anything from you at all. No, obviously there's strings attached with this. And again, on the Democratic side, so this is bad, but you're getting George Clooney and Amal Clooney, who actually are decent people, so what they might want from Hillary might actually make sense. What the venture capitalist wants from Hillary, not so much. But you get the sense that on the Democratic side, sometimes the donors are less scary, but they're still beholden to their donors. Think about this on the Republican side. You have ExxonMobil, you have, I was going to say Wall Street funds, but she takes it too. You have the scariest special interests in the country that give them money, and then obviously they do their bidding. This is why the entire party pretends like climate change. That's not a thing. What are you talking about? It's not because I took all this money from the oil companies, but it's not a thing, I'm telling you. Well, she plays that game too. Now, again, on the Democratic side, sometimes the special interests are less scary, like trial lawyers and teachers' unions and stuff. But you still have a system where the special interests and the donors control the politicians. And when you take this much money, you kind of like the people and you kind of listen to them. And the whole point is, Whether or not you're a good person or a bad person, because of the nature of the system, you're going to care more about your donors, if it's a hedge fund or anybody else, than you're going to care about a random grandma who lives in South Dakota. So that's the problem with the system, is that it's no longer a functioning democracy. And again, Bernie Sanders, he doesn't have a super PAC. So he doesn't have this giant outside spending group that raises money for him. And actually, to be clear about this fundraiser for Hillary, others, like she did one on Wall Street recently where it was for her campaign. For this year, this is actually for what's called the Hillary Victory Fund, which is not just for her, but it's for her and a bunch of state Democratic parties too. So it's not all going to her, and we need to be clear about that. But either way, I'm against it. Like, somebody was tweeting at me last night, like, come on, Kyle, this isn't just to her. It's to her and a bunch of other Democratic sellouts. Come on, why are you so mad? Well, I'm mad because of course you should be angry about this. The system's run on legal bribery. This is legalized bribery. $353,000 a head. Are you kidding me? No, see, they are elites. They are the establishment. You think Hillary Clinton's going to fight the establishment? You think, she's going to crusade for me as a student or, a minimum wage worker or a union worker? No, she's not. Even the endorsements she got from unions are from unions where the people in the union don't decide. It's the leadership in the union. And guess who's cutting backroom deals with the leadership in said unions? Hillary Clinton. So, choice is yours. There you have it. You got the guy who's raising, $27 on average is the amount of money he raises. It's almost all from small donors. And Hillary Clinton, she says most of it's from small donors, but don't look at when it's not. Because she's not just taking money for her campaign. She's not just taking money for her super PAC. She's taking money, as we've discussed at length, to put in her pocket. When she wasn't sure if she was running for president, when she left Secretary of State, and whoops, I gave a speech to Goldman Sachs where they gave me multiple speeches where they gave me over $600,000. Oh, look, I gave speeches to the health industry where they gave me hundreds of thousands of dollars. Don't worry, I'm sure I'll still do what the people want and not what the industry wants, even though they just paid me a lot of money. So she takes money and puts it directly in her pocket, and then on top of all of that, there's another layer of corruption, the Clinton Foundation, where, their family has a Clinton Foundation. Don't get me wrong, the Clinton Foundation does many good things, but when you're raising money from all these big money donors and even foreign governments in the case of the Clinton Foundation, like, for example, Saudi Arabia, they take money from Saudi Arabia, and what did they end up doing? Well, when Hillary was Secretary of State, Clinton Foundation got a big donation, and then she turned around and did a weapons deal with Saudi Arabia and gave them a lot more weaponry, which they then turned around and used on innocent civilians in Yemen. This is the exact kind of stuff that the American people should be against. And definitely the Democratic base should be against. Don't be stupid.